You have to keep the algorithm engaged.
You have to keep the algorithm engaged.
And that's on God.
And you have to
keep the algorithm engaged.
And you want to engage the algorithm so that it's coming. Yeah. It's working for you. Hook in the algorithm.
Welcome to Softcore, the podcast about all things soft and hard.
There we go.
And we're getting a little bit different.
And that was one take. That was amazing.
Yeah, that's what they're not going to tell you in school is that was one take.
Mm-hmm.
It's Softcore After Dark.
It's Softcore After Dark. I think we should cheers to it.
Yeah.
Cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
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 Yep.
I'm Megan Patsel.
I'm Maggie Widdoes.
And I'm Caroline Cotter.
And we're really, we're in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're living, we're in bodies, we're figuring it out.
It's 1 a.m. We're feeling 47. And it's not 1 a.m. It's
I'm feeling deeply perimenopausal. I'm not there yet, but like it's setting in,
Well,
you know?
I'm reading a book now that, do you guys know Samantha Irby?
Yes,
yes.
I love her.
Yeah, so I'm reading her newest book, and she's 40
Yeah.
or 42, and she's talking about how she doesn't, I just put something that she doesn't get her period anymore. I thought she went through menopause, but I think she got her.
She did a hysterectomy.
Yeah. So that, because I was concerned, I was like, oh my God, so in my mind, I was like, when I turn 40, I'm going to go through menopause.
Well, let me tell you something.
I only have a couple years left.
I saw a great documentary called Periodical that will be coming out on MSNBC soon.
Oh, yeah.
And
MSNBC, ladies.
And someone who's in it is Naomi Watts, and she talks about how she started going through menopause when she was 36. And
I
she
don't want to hear that.
and but it's really great to hear, like she's really peaceful about it now, but she was like, it was this really weird thing where it was an era where women weren't talking, like she would kind of like float it by her friends and no one else, like either they weren't bringing it up or they weren't experiencing it. And she was like, it was so crazy because now a decade later they're all doing that. Yeah, so could happen whenever.
So that was not comforting to me.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
I realized halfway through, and then I was like, actually, there's no spinning this.
I have 2 years until I go Naomi
You
Watts
are-
style.
that is, well, you'd be so lucky.
Yeah,
I would
wish.
actually love to go Naomi Watts.
Yeah, I
style.
think we all would.
I saw her at Something Rotten, a Broadway play one time with Liev Schreiber and her two twins.
Incredibly hot couple.
And I'm
Confirmed
not
couple.
talking about her titties. But I did see those too. She was topless. It was crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy, but that's Broadway. That's New
But
York.
that's Broadway.
That's what I miss about New York.
That's New
Yeah,
York.
pizza rat and tits.
New York does have the law where you are allowed to go tits out
Yeah,
on the street.
for real.
Yeah.
You guys ever
free the
see anyone
nipple.
practicing?
Yes.
I did.
Yeah. In the
Good.
East Village?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. You're seeing some NYU students feeling themselves.
Experimenting.
Yeah, and you're like, well, you're actually just a hot 19-year-old.
Yeah.
And the gaze is intense.
Yeah.
I've been, speaking of tits out, I've been thinking about experimenting with no bra and tight baby tee.
Love it.
Because
Love.
that's a look we're
That's kind
seeing.
of
Love.
well, that's kind
Yeah.
of what this is. It's
Yes.
like no bra, and like you can if it's a little colder and here's a little warm, you basically the whole outline of my fucking areola and nipples and
Yeah.
some of the titty hairs show through. And it's like I practice it to like try to just practice confidence because I see other people do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that looks great. But then when I do it, I'm like, I'm basically topless.
Yeah.
That's how I
It's how
felt.
it feels.
I did it the other day and I was like, I'm naked and everyone knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a girl at an audition, did not call for it. I said, that's a choice that
That's
I
how
respect.
you book.
That's how you
Yeah.
fucking book. You walk in there with 22-year-old
perky
tits up
naturals.
to here
Yeah.
in a white t-shirt, tight white t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she spilled water on herself during the audition, didn't
Yeah,
she?
she said, oops.
Always
I'm
oops.
thirsty. Oh.
No, I think I really would like to be doing that. It's tough, I think.
Yeah.
With what you're working
With what I'm working with.
I
it's
understand
a,
that.
It's a heftier load. It's a
Yeah.
heavy load.
So I don't really know how actual boobs work, you know what I
Sure,
mean?
sure.
But do you think it would work if you have like a really tight
Yes.
baby tee?
I like the way I look when I wear
Yeah.
it, but
Men's
I only
Warehouse.
kind of do it at home.
Yeah.
Sometimes that holds them in.
Yeah.
A tight, thicker baby tee.
Okay.
It can kind of support.
And
tight
I
fit.
like
Yeah.
the look of the titties.
Me too, and I
Yeah.
kind of think I might be able to do this.
You
in a
can.
good
You
way.
can.
Yeah, for sure.
Because women can do anything now.
except be
finally.
doctors.
Yeah, one day.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
There's a couple brands on Instagram that keep advertising to me that have like really sexy text on them, but like funny sexy text.
Yeah.
Like, you know, my tits are down here, things like that. And like
That's funny.
there's all these shirts that just say anal and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think that could be fun.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a fun goal for us.
MILF, like weird
Yes,
things like
yeah.
that.
I love
MILF
MILF.
could be good.
Yeah.
I love MILF.
I love MILF.
I saw a woman with she was probably in her 70s, just incredibly bleach blonde hair and a perfect fake rack. And in the Jägermeister font, her tank, it was a tight tank top. And it said Jäger Milfer.
Literally,
And
good.
I was
Yes.
like, I was in love.
Yeah.
I was taken by her.
Did you get her number?
I wish. She was not. That's not for me. You know, that's above my pay grade.
Yeah.
Speaking of feeling like we're 47, do you guys ever think about like what kind of look you want to rock when you are like older? Not older than 47,
I
which is
haven't
young.
thought about like 40 through 70, but when I get to like, if I get to 80, I feel like I'm definitely going to die before then. I want to like go crazy. Like, you know, all those New York women who like are just have so like Iris Apfel,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever her name is. Like they just the crazy like colors and
Yeah.
like whatever. That's for sure what I want.
Yeah.
I want there has to be at least a look. I go back and forth on what that look should be, but there has to be at least a look. Because if I just let myself go, which is completely understandable,
And you're
I
allowed.
like you saying that to your future self. You're like, I
that's
totally
okay.
get
Megan,
it. Yeah.
it's okay if you
let
do.
yourself go, it's fine. But I just have one particular older person in my life who dresses like that and lives that kind of lifestyle, and it makes me sad. And
Like, you mean just not caring at all? about
not
anything?
caring, in fact, like almost leaning in, which could be, maybe she's doing it for comedic effect, but like leaning into like an old hag aesthetic.
Yeah,
Like to the
well-
point where she's even like yelling at passerbys, being like, don't park there, and using her
Yeah.
that part of her voice, like
Yeah.
kind of leaning. I feel like she thinks it's funny and she's doing that, which I also get.
Yeah.
Like doing kind
But
of
I
a
think
comedic
if it's
thing.
it's not like that person probably never cared in the way you care.
Exactly. So
about
I would never.
a look.
Unless you get like a lobotomy
Right.
before now and,
And
then.
I
like,
want to say that
seriously,
would
yeah.
also be okay.
And that would be okay.
And
you
if that
win,
happens-
hey.
Yeah.
I respect women's choices.
Me too.
Yeah, it's gonna
Let
be
yourself
okay.
go, get
Yeah.
a lobotomy, and loosen up a little bit.
Maggie, can I say what I think yours is gonna be?
My style?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Is that like, I feel like it's gonna be very like I don't know if the name is for this, but a mature like cottagecore, wearing a lot of like quilted things, like 10,000 necklaces, and like
Yes.
everything very like clinky.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
And they all
In your
have different
hair.
smells.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I really like need that to be a part of like that is sort of what I've always dreamed of in like a really peaceful setting, but I also need to feed this sort of beast. You know,
and
have
who's
Pay
the
the
and
piper?
have a little I need to pay the piper.
Yeah.
I need to feed the like city version, which is you guys know the Instagram account Advanced Style?
Yeah.
Some like that too, which is like a little bit like glamour, eclectic, fun. But then like I'm mostly wearing sort of linens and the advanced cottagecore look. I love like an older woman with a gorgeous hat and a tank top and overalls
Diane Keaton
and jewelry.
Diane
that's
Keaton
good.
meets Amy Sedaris.
Yes.
Is what I'm thinking.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes, that's
see
sort
that.
of it. That's
Yeah.
sort of it.
Speaking of that, Amy Sedaris have you ever seen her apartment tour?
Sometimes I just watch it just to remind me of what
life
good
is.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's so, for me, it's like aspirational in so many ways, but also attainable, which I guess is kind of a little bit what aspirational is, like, because her whole thing is that she just still rents.
Yeah.
And she's like, she's like, I'm always going to live here. And I just consider my security deposit like me
Fun
paying
fee?
for
Yeah.
my, like
She has a name for
whatever.
it, yeah.
And she
Yeah.
also has these bunnies that just like roam
Yeah.
around.
That is
It's like
cute.
amazing.
Yeah.
I know. It's like really
That's-
amazing.
I like
Yeah.
her drawers full of knickknacks. That's what I want.
Yes.
Like a drawer full of horseshoes, like weird, just things like
Yeah.
that. I need.
Me too. I
Yeah.
really like kitsch.
Yes.
Not like
Yeah.
too what's the difference between like kitsch and
Tacky
cheesy?
or
Tacky.
cheesy,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like she is so in the right space in her orientation to that.
Yeah.
Yes, the way she adds humor to her space, like she
Yes.
uses only pink papered towels.
Yeah.
You know, like you just don't have to do that, but if you do, it would be kind of fun.
Yes, and
You
it
know,
adds
like,
a little
yeah.
bit to
Yeah.
your life.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a really nice, like, small things you can do to improve your life. A lemon in your water.
Ooh.
You know,
Whoa.
a candle in your next when you
In your shower.
In your shower.
Yeah.
Keeps going out.
Yeah, it's really hard to light, but it is worth it if you just stick with it.
My showers are about 2 hours long, but it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little sense of humor.
Yeah, I think that's important for style. I love this.
I like that our version of After Dark recording is like, let's go to like an elderly space.
Being more calm and chill.
Yeah, like fully not talking about what we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
And instead talking.
You know what it feels like? What's that? Ask Delilah or whatever. Delilah, Colin,
yeah.
whatever.
I would
It's
love
like
that.
it's giving that vibe.
Hey,
Yeah.
Jeremy, you called in because you wanna win her back, and we're here for you. We're so happy you're back from war, and here is Seal, Kissed by a Rose.
It requires full silence to do
Yeah.
that too. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's so.
it's so
That's
good.
ASMR actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
We would do the best like comedy version of that, and we should.
We
get
should be
started.
thinking
Yeah, we should
that
really
way.
be. We should really be thinking.
I
like
want
that.
a solid script.
That's
with
a good idea.
Yeah.
Like a
Throw to Seal at the end. Like
Yeah.
we know the beginning, middle,
Yeah.
end.
Oh, it's Seal,
That's
Kissed by a
good.
Rose
every time.
single time.
That's
I
really
also want to
funny.
hear the
That is such a funny idea, actually, for like
Yeah.
short, like a TikTok series or something.
And this is something I need in
yeah,
my life.
this is good.
I need to be creative.
After Dark is just brainstorm.
We're gonna be right back, but when we come back, we're gonna talk about apps and meeting hotties.
Sucking on my titties like you wanted me, calling me all the time like Blondie. Check out my Chrissy behind it.
Welcome back to Softcore. Today we are going to be talking about something kind of intense. Dating apps, if you've ever heard of them. Some of us are on them, some of us aren't. And I think there's actually a wealth of subtopics to go over when we
Yeah.
speak about these things. First of all, what are the apps that we like, maybe? Yeah. What's the general gist?
Kind of none, I think.
Yeah.
Now a lot of based off of like what people say on TikTok, it's like Hinge is really bad.
Why?
Bumble is because it's like Hinge I think used to be good, but now it just sucks, and it does suck because like everything, and I feel like this with apps across the board is like behind a paywall,
Yeah.
and like it just like sucks.
Yeah.
They have tactics that move you towards the paid version,
yeah.
like that incentivize you to do that and make the experience kind of super horrible if you aren't doing the paid
Yeah.
version.
I remember when I was on them, that was like you could see who liked you or super swiped you, or you had more super swipes or whatever.
Yeah.
And you could only access this group of 4 hotties if you choose to give them a rose, which costs more, or
I'm
you
so
only
sorry,
get one a day.
what?
Yeah, it's like that's the way it
a
is
full
now. It
ass
sucks.
rose, which is so embarrassing for me
Wait,
to give a
wait.
man a rose.
But you also there's this whole TikTok thing now where
not in the God's year 2023.
there's a whole thing now, a subgenre of like TikToks,
Yes.
where it's like this is what you have to re-download Hinge,
Yeah.
and this is what you have to do in order to like
Train
make
the
the
algorithm.
algorithm work for you. So it's
Yeah.
like basically like deprogramming the way the algorithm is.
Yeah.
It's like you log on every day, you X out of everybody who's on your
So
roses,
much
you
work.
X out of everybody who likes
What's
you.
the
You do that for
roses?
2 weeks, and then bubble. It's like so fucked.
Yeah, I think the app, they genuinely changed something within the app, and there's like insider
Yeah.
talk about how like, hey, the algorithm has actually changed, and this is why you may have been noticing that the app is really not working for you, and it's going viral on
Yeah.
TikTok right now about how bad it is. So I'm off.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I'll switch to a different one.
It is interesting that all of these apps feel like they have an arc, and then they
Yeah.
like when I was in right out of college, OkCupid was really
That's
big.
crazy.
Oh, interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
I may have had a stint, but I
I
don't
don't think
remember.
I've ever used OkCupid.
Wait,
Yeah.
what am I thinking of?
Tinder,
No.
because that was the first.
It was
one
an
for me.
I believe it's OkCupid.
Match. Yeah,
no,
maybe
it was OkCupid.
Yeah.
Where like
That-
where it was like kind of the cool one before.
Yeah.
Like I just remember like smart intellectuals in New York were on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And that I never went on it, but it was like more intensive. It felt like.
Yeah,
And then that kind of fell off.
and that was like
And-
web browser based. I
yes.
believe.
Yeah.
And then Tinder
Tinder
came.
still is, I think, in the
Is
mix.
it?
Yeah, because Tinder's like kind of never really tried to change what their thing
it's
is.
still the same.
They're just like still whatever.
Totally.
So that's still in the mix. Bumble, people like generally like the most. I fucking hate it.
Why?
Because I'm like, it's just like, I've never gone on a date with anyone from Bumble. And I think that's like my personality, but also like whatever. I'm also like, even because the women talks 1st, and so I do that. But
Wait,
then
that doesn't still exist.
yes, it does.
You have to say at least something.
Yeah, and then they respond,
And you
or they
probably-
can pay and talk first.
Yeah.
It's like everything is like so money
Yeah.
based now.
Yeah.
But
This said, we will partner with any.
yeah, Bumble. Thank you.
Bumble, any of these
Absolutely.
apps. Yeah, we'll
Um,
bring OkCupid back.
So good to bring up.
I think
Yeah.
with Bumble, no one ever responds to me that I want to date. And then, my favorite, Field.
I
For
think
the
that's the
absolute
one.
freaks. And now more people are getting onto it, which also is kind of making it kind of worse because it's more
Yeah.
like,
You get a New Yorker article about you. You're
yeah.
gonna
And the New York Times.
and the New York
which
Times.
everybody puts in their thing. They're like, I'm only here because of the New Yorker and the
It's
New
like,
York
no,
Times.
you're
I'm
not.
like,
You're here because you're horny.
Yeah, and you want to fuck.
And you want to fuck.
That reminds me of why I liked Hinge in the first place, because it felt like a new up and coming app that only like people who are really like in the know with the scene know about, and that's what
Yeah.
I'm looking for in a partner, like somebody who knows what's going
The cool
on
stuff,
and
yeah.
like
Well, it
cool
also
stuff.
was
Yeah.
originally you
Friends of friends.
You had to have it was
Yes.
Hinge. Like you had to have a connector.
Yeah.
A mutual.
and that felt safe.
That felt good.
Yeah. And then it was
Yeah.
just like cool design, like
Yeah.
cool
Yeah.
art.
I remember
yeah.
the quest like gave you more options with questions.
Like the
was,
prompts.
was the first to like offer that.
Yeah.
That's where I met. I think that's where I've met both my like boyfriends that I dated
Wow.
online were Hinge. I think.
It when it was
Oh,
good, it was really good.
interesting.
Yeah.
It felt cool. But yeah, this news is ruining it.
Yeah. And Raya, which sucks.
Right.
Yeah,
Because you just, I think unless you're like
supermodel.
a supermodel, but like you just want a superficial thing, or you're like two legitimately famous people, I think it's like the grossest, like most like networky like
Really?
thing where you don't even really meet anyone or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
it sucks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's really expensive now. Also, everything's
It was
so
expensive, when I
expensive.
remember when I was on it. It was expensive, and none of the people I was seeing on there were interesting.
I was seeing a lot of pretentiousness.
Yes.
when I was
yeah,
on it.
and
Yeah.
like not like sexy
right.
vibes.
Yeah.
It was just like, ugh. I was
Yeah.
like, there's no like earnest sensuality to this.
Yeah.
These people.
It's so hard because then if I find a normie on a different app, I'm like, where is your like cool pic?
Yeah,
from
exactly.
The cool bar, like
the cool
so
thing you
I-
did. What's your interesting hobby?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I that's on me.
Yeah.
This is my whole thing about all of these
Please
things,
tell us.
all these apps, and I'll actually go off as a single woman right now. Is I feel like I've like been in relationships, dated nice people to like full on actual like abusive psychopaths, and like it's everyone is kind of the same across all the apps. You know what I mean? Like it's like you're not going to get a specific person on a specific app. Like almost everyone is on more than one.
Yeah.
Like I went on a date with this guy I met on Hinge, and then he was like me where he's like, "Oh, I'm also on Field." And I was like, "Oh, me too." And that kind of like can give you a shorthand to be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we can talk about
Sex.
whatever." We can talk about whatever it may be. Like I don't
Caroline,
know.
you could say this
be
podcast
sex.
about sort of like sexuality.
We
and
can
being
talk
horny.
about whatever we want.
Don't feel shy.
don't
We're gonna be
feel-
your
I'm
Yes.
actually
friends.
so shy today.
Yeah. After
I
dark,
caught
we're
your shies.
shy.
I caught your
After-
shies.
Yeah.
And the shy's wearing off on me, so sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm loosening my shy.
My shy.
But you know what I mean? Like I used to before. I met my ex-boyfriend on Tinder, but we already kind of knew each other.
Right.
And then like I've met a bunch of people on like Field and Hinge, and then when I took a break, and then when I got back on, I was like, I'm very like compulsive, and I can get like addicted to it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm only gonna go on one, and so I was like, that'll be Hinge. But then I was like, well, Hinge sucks.
So
And
So
I
I'll
do
go
think
on
Field's
another
an
one.
important,
So I
like-
did. So now I just do the two.
Yeah.
But even just with those two, I'm like, this is still just the same
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. It makes you start to realize the sort of like Christian mingle farmers JDate.com.
JDate.
Like where you're
Yes.
like, where people are super. I think for me, I'm like always very scared of like strong boxes and like constraint
Yes.
of interest or personality or identity. So those things like freak me out because I'm like, no, I want someone who's everything, like who can tap into a bunch of different interests. But then you realize like, oh, those things can take, like maybe the structure actually offers freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
And that's on God.
And that's why you're going to go to Christian Mingle. We're going to get you on Christian Mingle.
No, if I went on any, I would go on JDate, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
That's what my mom has told me more than 5 times, to sign up for JDate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know about Field, that one's kind of new. How would you describe it?
It started as like a horny, I mean, that's not the right thing, but it's like a kink app for like the kink community. And I remember I first downloaded it like 4 or 5 years ago. And then it was really like that. And I'm not really like in that community to the extent that like people are like, you know, going to like the BDSM or whatever. Like I'm more just like whatever, like curious and we'll try anything. But when I joined then, I was like, oh, this is not, I was like, this is too, people are too, not even unsafe, but everybody was like, it was the kind of, and I mean this as a compliment, but it's like back then, and I still think some parts of the kink community are like this, it's like so nerdy. And it's like everyone there was such a sex nerd. And not even saying like
it's so true,
but it's like
people who are super into sex are sex nerds.
Yes, and it's like, but
just
in a way that was like very like I was like, oh, I'm not in this thing, and it feels like I can't be in this kind of group or whatever. So it felt, I was like, oh, it was kind of more of like just like voyeuristic or looking at it. I was like, I'm never gonna actually do anything with these people. But now, or more recently, like, it's become a lot more popular. People are like, it's like the new Tinder, whatever. And now it's just like the main thing throughout all the Field stuff, which is I think a very positive thing, is everyone is like very much more like communicative than any of the other apps.
I feel like that's the difference of like I feel like with Grindr and stuff like that, like within queer communities, there's just, especially like gay male apps, like there's just so much communicate, like upfront to an extreme that's bad of like, oh, this is like people are really closed-minded about different bodies, different looks, different whatever. But like Field does feel like the first time that like there's open like healthy, structured communication about sex. And obviously
sometimes.
not full.
I mean,
I'm
like,
not, nothing is perfect all the time, but it's like intended for that.
Yeah. People are more upfront, where I feel like in like Hinge, for example, people will be like, they're not gonna like come out and say they're like a fuckboy or whatever. They'll just be like, whatever, just want to like date. But on Hinge, they'll be, or I mean on Field, they'll be like, just want to fuck, don't want to be friend, or like, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, it's nice to
just
be
say
like,
it. Yeah.
That's actually the reason why I'm not on it, which I'm not saying this to make me sound cool. I'm actually admitting something uncool about me.
Thank
which
you,
is
brave.
that I'm still working on my like communication skills with partners and being vulnerable like that. It does still scare me to be like, directly in someone's eyes, what are you looking for? Would you like to hook up tonight, tomorrow, in the near future? It still scares me to have to think about doing that. I feel like that app, it gets you closer to that, whereas maybe on a different app I could build up to feeling comfortable.
But I think that's fine. And I will also say, like, I'm really bad at it also, but I'm like, the way my brain is, I'm like, the only way I'm gonna, like, in my brain I was like, oh, I want to just like make myself uncomfortable, basically.
That's
you know what I mean? Just like be like, and I'm still not good at it, and it still is awful.
But it's muscle.
But I'm just just like force
it's
myself
like
to practice.
Really,
and I'm horny.
Yeah, and I think it's good muscle. You have to do it over and over again.
It's good muscle.
It's good muscle, you guys. And like the more you do it, you're like, one time you'll do it, and then you're like, oh, it's not as hard as it was once.
Yeah.
At least that has been my experience.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
So this And you're pausing them right now.
Yeah, I paused because, like you, I went off Hinge because I heard the news, went to Bumble. Yeah, heard the news.
You watched
breaking
CNN.
news. I watched CNN. And
MSNBC.
Anderson was,
MSNBC,
and
yeah.
then Rachel was all about it
Yeah.
and whatever. I heard the news, and then I switched to Bumble. Immediately, I started seeing guys I was so into. I was like, oh my God, they're here. Like, I'm having so much fun. None of them matched with me.
Yes.
Like, I remembered the names. I was like, oh, I know that guy because he does comedy. I've seen it. Great. And oh, I know that guy because he drives that car that I like. Like, and I was just kind of waiting for the matches to come in. And when they didn't, I was like,
It's broken.
like, either it's broken or I'm ugly.
No.
I got in my head about it a bit, but then I did realize that I don't know if I can stand by my profile the way it is right now. I need a profile that I can fully say,
Revamp.
This is me. This is what I stand by. If they don't like this, then I don't like them. And I couldn't fully stand by the profile at that time. So I'm going to take new photos that feel more representative so that if they don't like me, I can be like, they genuinely don't like me. It's not just a bad photo. Like, I don't know.
But I hear what you're saying, but I also disagree with it because I think like the Hinge thing and stuff, like I do think so much of it is an algorithm thing. So it's like I bet that most of these people aren't even ever seeing your profile. You know what I mean? So that's why you're never matching. And like, yeah, I just like, I'm like, I don't think it's dependent on the pictures as much maybe as, I mean, I think it is, but it's like not as, like, I wouldn't like, no, because I'm sure your profile is perfect.
Yeah, but
And
I
your
also
pictures are also amazing.
yeah.
Anyway.
I just feel like I look a little different than the ones I usually post.
Yeah, I mean, you should do whatever you want
I
to
think
feel
feeling
comfortable.
strong.
But yeah.
But it's I agree.
I just think now that like all this stuff about Hinge has come out, I'm like so like it's the algorithm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're more
and I
inclined to
do
believe that.
feel that way.
Well, I remember when I deleted the apps.
Go off.
Thank you. Where I was getting sent pictures from friends where people I knew who would see me that my profile was still showing up.
Yeah.
Oh.
It stopped at a certain point, I think, but like I don't think the tech of it.
It might not be foolproof.
Yes. That's not to say I think it's a great idea to really, feel strong
Stand
about
in your
Yeah.
power.
standing
Maybe-
in your power.
And I will.
Yeah.
And maybe that was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
I think I had been feeling like I
Totally.
wanted to make a new profile, and that was just like, okay, I'm making a new profile. 'cause
Yeah.
I need this guy to swipe me.
Yeah.
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 Totally. And the other thing I'll say about dating apps, which maybe kind of segues into the next thing
Great.
of like how to
Seg.
meet other ways to meet people, is for me like my number one thing is because I think it's like a very human neural thing is I just like
It
immediately.
sounds like you have an easy, fun time with humans.
It's so normal
Yeah,
for me.
being human's
actually.
awesome and it's easy.
The thing
For
about me
it's
is that
easy.
I'm a normal human and
Yeah.
things are actually really good.
Yeah. Good. I was just
Anyway,
checking.
yeah. Anyway,
Cool.
Is I try to meet people as soon as possible
Yes.
after matching with
Yes.
them.
Agree.
Because
Yeah.
the longer I wait, the more I like have this picture of them in my head.
Yeah,
and then I
totally.
meet them,
Yeah.
and it's like never. I've never met someone after talking with them for an extended period of time that has been like better than what I imagined. Like I come up with better stuff than what they actually are. But
Yeah.
like I can be like surprised if I meet people soon. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's just like I want to meet people as soon as possible. So, which kind of brings me to the other thing of like the different ways that how do you meet people? Like you have the apps obviously, but you also have in real life and Instagram DMs.
Oh, Instagram DMs. Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that going for me? Oh, okay. So I sent you guys a profile.
Yes,
and
someone-
we
and we
support.
said yeah.
Yeah.
support.
Okay.
Absolute
That's
hottie.
an absolute hottie.
Absolute
think
chode
so.
of a man.
This
in a
person,
good way.
this person posts themselves doing jokes sometimes, and I feel like that's a great in to whatever. And then I found myself not enjoying the jokes, and so I couldn't find a way to
That's
get in.
tough.
And then I'm like, is
It's
this
tough
just,
when you don't like the
But
joke.
is this a dead end if I don't even like the jokes?
Yes, because I
Yeah.
think they're also you have to think about it like this. They're putting the stuff that they think is the funniest online.
Right.
So if you don't think their best material is funny, like
But also people like who are in that lane of life
Yeah.
it's a numbers game. They're
They are
kind of
just posting
turning
a
out
lot.
everything.
And
I
I see
guess
that,
so,
yeah.
but I also like still think even if we were to do stuff like that, I don't think we would put something out that we're like, this is bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't put something out mediocre. I would
Yeah.
only put something out that was like, ha ha, funny.
Ha ha.
Ha ha.
Yeah.
I would maybe put out a ha, but
Yeah, and as a throwaway.
As a
Like,
throwaway.
don't
Throwaway ha.
even. I wouldn't even hashtag
I
it.
know I
And
need
then
to
that's
keep
the one
I
that
know,
goes
I know I
viral.
need to keep the algorithm engaged.
Yeah, so this is just one ha,
Yeah.
like, and I'm
you
throwing
have
it
to
away.
keep the algorithm engaged.
You have to keep the
actually.
algorithm engaged.
And that's on God.
And you have to
and you have
do
to
that.
keep the algorithm engaged.
And you want to engage the algorithm so that it's coming.
Yeah.
It's working for you. Hook in the algorithm. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Good.
Good. Normal.
We all know where the G spot is.
I can't wait till we do our G-Spot episode.
Oh my God.
Something to write down.
Something to write down.
G-spot episode.
I do think this sort of that is a really important topic.
We should get like some sort of a mannequin model to make sure.
Oh, like
you
they
know.
have in the gynecologist's office?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
love
we'll
that.
work on that.
Wouldn't
We'll
mind
make
that.
one paper mache.
Yeah.
No
yeah.
problem. I'm actually really good at paper mache craft.
Okay.
This happening.
I have in college, I was in Evil Dead the musical.
Ooh.
And, you know, the Necronomicon.
Uh-huh.
It's like the Book of the Dead.
Okay.
It's basically a book made of human skin,
Yeah, flesh.
flesh, whatever. I made a really
That's
good,
good.
paper mache.
That's really
like,
good,
cover.
Caroline.
Like it was
Yes.
really good.
That's really good.
That was really fun. I missed that about
Yeah.
like colleges doing all the little
Yeah.
crafts.
I want to see you in that.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a tape of it, baby, so
Yeah,
I
we're
can show it
gonna
to
be
you
screening that
anytime
as
you
well.
want.
I would like to, if you're open, take a little peek
That's
behind
right.
this. I'd like to see
I'll
meet
show
the
you
wizard behind the curtain.
I'll show you mine, and I wonder. Here's the thing with this app I've done. So I'm not going to show you my field one because that is like my pictures are fine, but the prompt is like
It's
we
a
have to
little
draw the
too
line
intimate.
somewhere.
it's a little
Yeah, we're
too horny.
It's private. It's private parts.
Yeah, private.
Your private parts are on
Here's
it.
the thing: we are dealing with private parts here.
We have to remember that.
yeah.
Yeah, these are our private.
We're dealing
These
with
are our
private.
privates.
These
So-
are private.
This
And we're
one-
making some of them public.
Yeah, but most private.
I'll say with this iteration of what's happening is let me say this. So this is on Hinge. I'm open. This is a critique, ladies. So I would like your feedback.
Yeah.
I'll say a couple things before we go into it.
Please.
That my responses to the prompts are not good. Like I didn't put a lot of thought into them. I didn't put a lot of thought into the pictures, but there is a picture in this thing that I think, well, I won't say any more, but it has gotten like literally the most
Responses.
and people like in a way where I've never seen before where I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, this is crazy.
And for the audio listener, now would be a great time to go to our YouTube channel where you're
Yeah.
going to be able
Okay.
to actually see Caroline's profile.
Oh, actually, and this is exciting because I think the first picture I have is a picture you took of me.
yes.
my
Oh,
God.
yes.
Okay, ready? I haven't looked at the other thing I do with my dating apps is like I'm so like embarrassed by them that like after I fill it out, I never look at it
Throw
again.
Yeah.
away the phone.
Because I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
So I haven't looked at this in so long.
Yeah. I like working.
Okay, wait, how do I view? Okay.
Okay, great. So the first photo, I did take this.
It's
with
really
Caroline.
good.
It's really
cute, casual.
She's like at a party, but she's being silly. So there's humor, but there's also glamour and gorgeousness.
Yeah.
And do we have sometimes I have a funny little caption on, but I don't have for this one.
yeah.
Unusual skills. Being bad at juggling. I can juggle, but I cannot stress how bad I am at it. I think that's
True.
really good.
Thank
My
you.
dyslexia misread that as, but it stresses me out, or like,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
really
But,
stressful.
but juggling stress. I'm really stressed about juggling.
yeah, either works. I like it.
Which is, true.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know why it says Buddhist. I think I was high when I did it.
Atheist,
But keep going.
atheist, and Buddhist.
And
It's
Buddhist.
a really interesting combo.
Shows where you're
All right,
from.
scroll us over on the tops.
You're listed as an actor and writer.
Yeah.
Location.
Don't
blah,
have
blah,
children.
blah.
Not sure. Yes. No.
Drinking,
sometimes.
yes, smoking,
Hello.
no.
Sometimes.
Drugs,
hello.
sometimes. Cool. That all seems pretty normal.
Yeah.
From what I've seen of
I think
other
it's
profiles.
interesting you said drugs sometimes. You don't, I mean, I guess that's true, but it's not like you're using a lot other than weed.
I know, but sometimes like shrooms.
Yeah, I guess people
Every
are
once
like
in a
that,
while,
yeah.
I'll do a little
When I see some-
Molly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when I see sometimes it's exactly what I think is like
Yeah.
at the right moment I might take a
Sure,
pill.
sure.
Yeah.
because I think there's a code to this as well. Like I don't.
A hanky code.
Yeah, if I say no, I feel like that's people who are like sober, don't do anything.
Right, yeah.
And or if someone says like yes to weed, I'm like they're a pothead. You know what I mean?
Ah,
There's
yeah,
debate online about what sometimes means.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
does that
that's
mean
interesting.
sometimes, like when I go out?
Yeah.
Like for drinking, especially,
Yeah.
it's confusing.
Ooh,
here's one.
gorgeous girl.
Oh, we have a gorgeous like.
we have a gorgeous
vacation
girl
pic.
in a pink. Oh my God, you're tan. You have the Italian coast behind you. Flowers with a beautiful pink dress.
This once again shows off that you're fun because you're holding a beer in like a picturesque setting.
You look,
but you've also got glamour.
Yes.
Well,
you
and I
look
said
so
yes to
fucking
drinking.
hot.
You said yes to drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also good because you're showing different sides of you. Like this is more formal and maybe it makes
Yes.
the person think like, oh, I could take her to a wedding.
Yes, she can be a wedding date.
Yeah.
She can
which
be
is,
formal
I think
style.
something that's
Yeah.
important to project.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you agree or disagree?
Okay.
Toe jam is a bad name for a dog. That's great. Oh, so
That's
that's probably
great.
Yeah.
That is, and
Girly.
you hacked it.
Girly, you done did it.
You done hacked the mainframe.
I hate this.
This girly knows a thing or two.
Okay, playing them like a little puppet.
Playing him puppet style.
Oh, I hate this so
Okay, so
much.
Caroline has a dog named Toe Jam, and one of the prompts is, do you agree or disagree that? And she said Toe Jam is a bad name for a dog, because I bet that gets a lot of responses.
Yeah. Because if you're a shy guy, you could just say, yeah. Or,
Yeah.
no, it sucks.
Yeah,
And then you,
but
it's
the
conversation.
kind of person who's saying no is not thinking through, why'd she ask this?
Right.
And you
That's
want
right.
someone who's thinking, why are you asking this?
I actually didn't think that far into it, but that's that's
You
why I
have
did
to be
it.
digging deep.
I have to be dicking deep into these
You
profiles.
have to dig so deep. Caroline.
This is you. Oh, I found it. Hey, girly, you're funny. Really?
Just like this is me. This is when it's like I maybe
this is
shouldn't be
where
on an edible.
and
be
this
doing
is where this is where I am like, Caroline.
I know.
She's pointing to a
See,
toilet
this
and
is
says,
an
I found a
act.
toilet.
I think this is funny. This is an Instagram. This is my girl Caroline. As
But
I
it's
know
not
her.
a dating
But
app.
This is not a dating app picture.
Yeah.
I will say you have like 5 funny photos.
Yes.
And as long as you're comfortable with luring in people who want to date you because of that primarily, then you're fine.
Yeah, this is interesting. This is kind of showing me a lot.
I think you're
more about
I think
myself than I
ratio
thought I
wise,
would.
you're heavy on the funny, which is
Yeah.
great.
'Cause
there's
there's-
hot and funny, but I think this is
Ugly and funny.
no, I think this is hot and funny, but I think it's
You're
like
doing ugly there.
Okay, well you're not gonna like the next problem. This was me, really.
The dorkiest thing about me is I'm forced to wear a dunce cap and sit in the corner of my apartment for 5 hours a day.
This one doesn't even make any sense.
You know what I want you to do? I want you to change your schooling from wherever you went to college to UCB comedy, and then I want you to change from actors to comedian. Like, can you imagine if you did
Yeah.
that with his profile?
Oh
Yeah.
no.
yeah, this
Or
is
write podcaster as
podcaster.
Oh, this is my
TikTok.
hell.
Here's
This is
what
sometimes you need a reality check, and
can
this
I
is kind
give
of
you
a good reality
can I
check.
give you
A critique. This is why I'm doing
I'm
it.
gonna give you a note. This is listen to me.
I love this girl.
I love
love
this
this
girl.
girl.
Okay, this is my girl. And no one talks bad about my friend. But listen to me. This prompt is, I think it's such a funny response. I think that the reason it doesn't hit is because it's right below that
I know.
toilet picture. I think the funnier contrast is pure hot glamour photo
Titties, nipples.
Yeah, titties, nipples.
into
That's an
dorkiest
interest-
thing about
Yeah.
me, because then you're getting that what people want is
The contrast.
multifaceted, you know, like
Yeah.
this is sort of like
Never resting the game.
never rest,
Which is
and-
something you
and
learn in
know,
clown school.
and you know about comedy.
Yeah.
So you got to rest in a second. Say, actually, I'm all body, and I'm sweet, and I'm hot. And
I'm all
and I'm-
body.
and I'm out,
and I'm body,
and
body.
I'm having fun, and I actually read a lot. And then you
This,
do.
it just keeps getting worse
but-
now as the notes that you're saying.
I'm
and
just
the
telling you
pictures.
because I think funny is a part of it, but you need the funny is like it's sort of
It has
got
to
us
be
by
more
the
horny.
throat right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Or
Okay.
not even more horny, but pick one other thing you want it to be, and then you could say, okay, I want it to be 75%
Yes.
comedy, but then I want the other 25 to show that I'm smart. Like maybe you want to choose
And-
smart,
Yeah.
or maybe you want to choose
Yes.
hot because that's.
And-
I think
totally
I would
fine.
choose hot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also, I think it's like, let's call a spade a spade. This is a great profile. Like
That's the other thing.
baseline, we are working with gold.
This is top tier. Like
This
if we
is
picked
top-
like
Wow.
100
You're
profiles,
a 1%er.
absolutely, you would be at the top.
And that's how I identify. Oops, I got
Hey,
out of it.
Hey.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Okay. Well, here we have another one. Unfortunately.
Yeah, then we're being silly and we
We're
have
being
friends.
silly and
we're
having
Also
fun.
showing that I can suck a dick.
That's really
You know
interesting.
what I mean?
Yeah, you're mostly tongue.
And do you have the caption on that one? Like,
No,
hey,
I don't,
mouth.
but I should. I
Yeah.
should say, hey, note the mouth.
Note the mouth. It doesn't open any wider, so you're gonna have to slip in that crack.
Images in photo may be larger than they appear.
Gives a little
There's a little
titty.
toe.
Okay,
That's cute.
love you with your dog.
Also, and this is something about my profile I hate. I feel like I don't have enough photos of night versus day activities versus night. A lot of my photos are just me holding drinks at different dark bars.
Okay, we need
And that's
yeah.
something I appreciate about this profile is that this is a daytime hike. This isn't partying. This isn't.
You have other
Yeah.
people you go out with during the day.
My dog?
No, but someone else took that picture.
No, they didn't. This was a fucking selfie.
No one has to know.
Caroline, please just
Don't break the illusion.
don't break the illusion. I'm trying to date you.
Sorry, I'm too funny for you, baby.
Okay.
According to your
Are we done?
Yeah, we're done. This
Do
is
any
it.
of these have funny captions?
No,
Okay,
but
cool.
I think I wore myself out on the
done.
the whatever. So.
I think if you're gonna keep that toilet photo, it needs to move to the end.
I was gonna say that or
that's a-
I don't
number
think
one.
I
That's
need
a
the toilet
closer.
photo.
I don't think so either. I'm just saying if you're really committed
You give
to
me
it.
the harsh note. Say take the toilet photo out.
We're gonna, and I think it's gonna be fun because we're gonna revisit this in
Okay.
another episode and see
Yeah.
how life has changed.
All right, well, it's fine.
Yeah. I want to see like a glamour shot. I know, like,
Revisit.
Yeah, in maybe a month or so, and
Yeah.
just see how you have
I'm
integrated.
gonna
the
be
notes.
pregnant by then.
that's so true.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're on pregnancy path.
Yeah, I'm on a pregnancy pact that's expiring in 1 week.
Oh, I forgot about the pregnancy pack.
Fuck. We have to get pregnant.
Yeah, so we're also doing a pregnancy pact.
Yeah.
Next
All
time
good
you hear from
podcasters
us-
commit. All good podcasters commit. And I have yet to see any of these TikTok girlies getting fucking knocked up, getting pumped full of cum.
Together with your friends.
And together with their best fucking girls
friends.
popping out babies.
9
okay?
months' time.
We're going Hallmark mode.
Yeah, it's a hallmark for me, bestie.
Well, bestie, that rocked. And I feel like we should take
In.
But I think let's let you have a second to integrate those notes, and we're gonna come back
Yeah.
for our last section.
Yeah, I want you to
Second
think
to
No,
about
second to last.
pie chart.
Yep.
How much you want it to read comedy and how much you want it to read like fuckable and how much you want it to read like smart or any of your other
And also
qualities.
because I
Yeah.
think like if you are looking to date people, you do want some emotional intelligence. And you have to be smart in order to be funny, yes. But also let's get some vulnerability in there, huh? We're gonna
No.
I'm gonna make you
Never
vulnerable.
mind, I don't wanna do
Hey
this
Caroline,
anymore.
I'm gonna make you nice and vulnerable.
and I'm gonna make you pregnant.
Yes.
I'm gonna make you pregnant.
Between the two of us, girly, your next month is gonna
Yeah, yeah, baby. All right, be back.
I wanna come faster. I wanna last longer.
Welcome back to Softcore. We're gonna get into a new segment that we're gonna call secretions and gentle caressings. And what that is gonna be talking about is sort of the real soft body of us. I would say Actually, we're not going to be talking about our downstairs secretions, or we are, but mostly kind of what's happening upstairs.
yeah.
It's kind of not first thought for once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking tears. We're talking sweet, sweet, tender feelings and how we're experiencing them and expressing them.
Yeah. Yeah, this came about because two things we really wanted to discuss were tears, crying, and also touch in kind of a not sexual way. Like
Sensual, just physical touch.
PDA,
just like
body language.
caresses,
What does
whatever.
it mean when I've
Yeah.
got a hand on my shoulder? Like, should I
Yes.
read into that?
Yeah.
There's so much.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting. I'm gonna write
Hand
that
on
It's
down.
shoulder.
interesting
Yeah.
because I will say, I think I have become very aware in my adult life of how naturally physical I am. I am like I think I grew up like, I just realized like, my brothers always had arms around each other. Like my dad, like lots of hugs, lots of cuddling. So that's like always been something for me.
Yeah.
But like as an adult, it's really, I've realized like I think I'm misconstrued as hitting on people a lot in a way that I wasn't always aware. because I am touching arms. I'm
Okay,
touching legs.
okay.
I'm hitting.
Yeah.
Like, and then also I have had some friends be like, hey, you grab my knee every time you laugh. Like if we go to shows or something. And like, I'm really ticklish there,
I
actually.
set a boundary.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I just don't even, it's like so natural to me to just be like touching people and like, can we believe we're in this life together?
Can I say something in response to that?
Please.
Is that I
Your
feel like
response?
this is whatever. I grew up in like the opposite household
Okay.
of that,
I
where
was
like
gonna say the
no
same.
one ever touched.
Yeah.
Like it was just like there was so much of my adult life when like the joke about me with my friends would be like how I hate to be touched and stuff. But the reality is like I actually want to be touched and I crave that, but I'm like I don't know, have some sort of like deep rooted shame or whatever about like that happening. So that's why I like love people like you and you
I'm all over
specifically
you.
because it's like
I'm all
that
over.
is what I want, and then I'm like, oh, I have permission to do this too.
To explore that side of you that you would
Yes,
you never explore.
and even in like I've gone on like a couple dates with people or whatever, and they'll be like, oh, I'm like really touchy or whatever, because I think my first thing is just to be like,
Yeah.
and then they're like, sorry, and I'm like, no, like I have to like explain to them, I'm like, I actually really like it when you do that, and I actually kind of like a certain amount of PDA in the right context, but like I just it's hard for me to initiate that, but I like it.
I have a metaphor for it that I've often used to describe my like relationship to touch, which is like if you're learning a language, let's say I'm studying Spanish and I'm really bad at it. So every time I enjoy Spanish, but I speak with I can't do an accent, like I'm like como estas, and anyone hearing me would be like, oh my god, make her stop speaking Spanish, like she hates it, like do not like,
She hates
yeah
it.
she's having
She
the
hates
worst
speaking
time.
Spanish.
Yeah, she doesn't like it, and so they adapt to me just assuming I don't like it, but it's like no, I'm trying, it's just a language I don't speak yet, and I'd love to learn it, and when I'm around people who are fluent, I'm in awe. I'm like, oh, it sounds so natural coming off of you. Like, I would love to get there, and it doesn't mean I don't like it. I just can't speak it that well.
Because she's a native speaker.
You're a native speaker of the language of the
and
body.
I'll say this, as someone who struggled in the language department, this feels good to hear.
Yeah, finally.
That
Oh, yeah,
physical.
100%.
I do think it's something I am good at.
You
is
are.
like, it's also that thing. Like, I'm also just anytime I let myself lean into my physicality, I feel more ease. Everything is more easeful.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know. It's tough because I think I think this is gonna sound fucking insane to say. Not to be like, you can't say anything to women these days.
Yeah, I hear that.
Oh no! But hey,
I can't even tell her she's got a nice skirt on anymore.
Something to talk about later, though. Seriously.
Seriously, all I want to say is I like seeing that underside.
Hey, nice gams, lady.
But like, I do think as I've become aware of that, like some of the way, like, it's interesting because I think I occupy this space that's like, I don't know if I've talked about, but like being a sexual assault survivor and also being someone who's like, I think sometimes I'm like, oh, and I can be the person.
Sexual assaulter.
You worry that you're
like
in the
not
zone.
like I suddenly like when I was like 25, I had this like, oh my god, have I just been like non-consensually touching everyone my whole life?
That's so
You know
nice
what I
of you
mean?
That
to
is
worry.
nice of
It's
you.
nice of you to worry.
So now
I'm sure you have
I
it.
think I started stopping my instincts, but I'm getting back to it, you know?
Yes.
But it's interesting because like when I was traveling recently, I was like,
Congrats.
thank you. I flew the plane and
The pilot was a woman? Now I've heard everything. I wouldn't want to be on that plane. Sorry, am I not allowed to say that anymore? Women can't fly.
yeah, they're gonna get their periods up there.
You can't see through the damn windshield with all that red.
And then they're gonna fall asleep. Okay, so but there was this one night where I was like hanging out with this new friend who's a woman and a guy friend,
Hot.
and I kind of hadn't even thought about that, like what me and my guy friend were perceived as friends.
Oh.
But at the end of the night, she was like, "I'm gonna leave you guys." And I was
you
like,
could finally
and I was like,
Yeah.
"What? No."
talk about something that's
What are you
never happened to
talking
me.
about?
Yeah.
I was like, that's not, hasn't been a part of this vibe at all. He's been talking to me about the women he's fucked. Like it was just not that there. But I think like I I'm going like this to him, you know.
That is so funny because speaking of like the fluency example, like I feel like I entered a phase in my life in like my 20s where I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna try to like break the barrier and like go for the touch. And I thought I was doing that where I was like, oh, everyone's gonna think like I'm so like like flirty and whatever. I'm like so good at like trying touch, but what I would do, and it's like I don't know,
Caroline,
if
this is already
this
like
really
actually
feels like-
this feels unsafe for me.
Any sort of calculating touch, you know, it's not going to be.
that's the thing.
It wasn't
Touch-
calculating to me. I was like, oh, what's like the most intuitive thing I could do?
No,
and
you're
this is
you're
like
thinking what's the most intuitive thing to do instead of intuiting.
this is
the
like
action.
this is my spectrum behavior. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like when it's like I have the
of
proof.
like this is how social interactions work. So now I do
Exactly.
social
like
interactions.
genuinely, and I went through a phase for truly years where I would just like touch people's faces like that. I would go up to them
Caroline,
and just like
what's the
do
context?
like this.
Caroline, can I
no
tell you?
context.
Can I tell you what this is?
What?
This is the development of the girls who would take a guy's hat and put
Oh
it on.
my God.
But this is pre that. This is like those girls at least are more advanced than me, where they're like, "Ooh, I'll do this," and I was like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know what to do.
This is an old
Yeah.
reference, but the Lionel Richie music video, Hello.
Yes,
The woman
exactly.
is blind.
But that it was as if everyone to me, I was like trying to like feel their face, or I was feeling their face, and I did it for years until one day someone was like, I was like performing with them at the time, and she was like, Caroline, can you not touch my face?
Yeah.
I really don't like when you do that. And I was like, and to me, that was the first time it occurred to me that might be a weird thing to
Insane.
do.
You have all these
Insane.
flashbacks
Just
of
like-
other people being like,
Like it's just crazy because our own hands are ones that like at a certain point you learn like you don't want to touch your face that much. That's like where all the bacteria
But
is.
they never say anything about other people's faces.
And that's why, it does feel like your brain left that gap.
Do
for
unto
you
others.
yeah.
as you-
So is that good, Maggie? As a fluent speaker, what do you think?
I think it's just again, it's not you don't want to be thinking about the touch. It's like that thing of like fantasy, like fantasizing about hookups or whatever is like it's
One of
never
my favorite activities.
Yeah, obviously.
That's what I do before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yes,
Every
and when I
day.
wake up
It's like
and for
1
lunchtime,
through, yeah.
yeah,
Brushing my teeth.
brushing
going
my
to sleep.
teeth.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm like, oh, I'm totally doing hookups.
Yeah.
Um,
These hookups are so hookup.
oh my god, I'm hooking up right now.
Did you guys do hookups today? Or?
Yeah.
'Cause I did
In
a
my
couple
in my
hookups.
mind, I did.
Yeah, I did a couple mind
So
hookups.
many hookups.
But like, it's always different than like what the actuality is,
Sure.
and so you got to live in the moment of like being two physical bodies.
I hear what you're saying, but I think that is the difference in perception that you have as someone who's like grown up with that versus me, where I was like, if anyone touched each other in our family, it would be like, ugh, you know what I mean? It's like
I also read too much into it. I'm like,
Yes.
what does that mean?
Yes.
And then on the flip side, that makes me think like if I were to follow my impulse of hand on shoulder or hug,
Yeah.
what will that mean? And then I don't follow the impulse because I'm
Yes.
like, it's too messy.
exactly.
I'll say this. I want to be clear that my family.
They fucked each other, right?
You guys kiss hello and
I want to
goodbye.
be clear that we
Kiss
were
with
all
tongue,
fucking each
right?
other. Yeah. No, but like the physical touch was almost like rambunctious, if that
Sure,
makes more
playful.
sense.
No. Yes, and I
Like,
think
and so in a way that like I think I actually speak physical touch differently than
you have different dialect.
than those in my family. Like I think. Like if my mom would like to be gripped at myself, like she would like to sort of be like hugging all the
Yeah.
time. Like she's physical. My dad is like always like there's hugs and arms around shoulders. But it's like it wasn't like it was always we the dysfunction was still there, so it's not like it always felt totally natural, which probably led to
Sure.
me questioning it.
Yeah.
You know? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't perfect.
Yeah. It's
No.
It
not
was
like,
ours.
No,
sounds
and
like
that's my point is you have to find your own.
yeah. Well, I think in order to find that, we're gonna have to study abroad.
In another country
We
where you
have to
speak a
study-
different language. Where do you think those people are at, the touchers? Where do
I
they
feel
find
like
the
Europe-
I'm pretty sure
Europeans.
is Spain and Italy. Or,
Yeah.
And I'm
Italy is
afraid
good.
because of that, actually,
Like the bisou, France,
or
like the-
Brazil.
Yeah.
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 That's what we need.
I think that something that I really like, and I would like to, I think the way that Western cultures have like specifically America, I think the way that like sensual touch is so reserved for like monogamous partnership, whereas like in like salsa dancing, like it's like
and it means
touch
nothing,
is like we're supposed to be fucking touching each
Yeah.
other. We're supposed to be in community and getting each other off.
I'm the type that's like in the school play and we're supposed to kiss, and I'm like, that would mean a lot for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing that I did once is like I didn't understand stage kissing.
Please tell this
So-
story, actually, because I think of it often.
When I was doing like sketch comedy in New York,
No.
I had never like done. I'd done like college kissing, maybe like stage kissing, but it
There should
still
be a
was
tutorial. There should be a YouTube
There should be a
video and a
tutorial.
class on how
stage
to do
kissing.
it. Yep.
But so there was this one sketch I was in, and the sketch team I was on, where the joke was like I was bringing this guy back to my apartment to hook up, but then I had like all these Charles Manson posters or whatever, and he's
Right.
like weird. But so it was like, you know, he'd see that, and then we make out, and blah, blah, blah. It was just like making out, seeing a thing, making out, and seeing a thing. So I remember our first rehearsal for it. I was like, okay, I'm making out with this guy.
Yeah.
I know how to do that. And so I just started making out with him. Yeah, it was full tongue. Yeah, it was like full kind of hands everywhere. And he goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh my God, Caroline, did you just slip me your tongue? And I was like, yeah.
Oh, that's soul crushing.
It really hurts.
That's soul crushing.
That like makes my
But
inner
then
child.
I learned. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I
Yeah.
learned through shame.
Yeah,
Shame teaches.
Shame teaches. And that's why I think shame is actually a really good
it's
thing.
a useful tool sometimes.
Yeah, it's a useful tool.
I can't wait to find out who that person was.
Mm-hmm.
But that is, yeah, I think finding the stage kiss is like part of why I think it's fun is because it doesn't mean any. It is because like you are,
Unless you have slip tongue in there.
that's right. But you're given this space to like, that's outside of your normal relationship
Yeah.
or relationships or whatever it is to like, you're like, oh, this is like this art space where we're actually exploring like what kissing is in this reality.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
you know?
You want to know my tactic around the stage kisses? When I was
Yes.
ever asked you, just not do it and don't talk about it. Just like
Oh!
yeah. And I
That's
thought I
really
was being
interesting.
sly. Just to
No,
be,
but that's
like,
a choice.
in rehearsal,
They
I
tell
would
you-
just like move straight to the next line or something. And I think it gave my scene partner like the clue, like, oh, she doesn't want to do that without me having to say I don't want to do
That's
it.
powerful.
Looking back on it though, I thought I was being kind of just like whatever. But
I don't care about kissing.
Yeah,
I'm
powerful
above
businesswoman.
kissing.
Yeah, it reads as, oh, so she's scared and uncomfortable, so I'm gonna respect.
Yes.
It reads as that. and
Yeah,
I
But
thought
even
it
though
read
you're
as,
like, I can move past this.
yeah, I'm just actually not doing. Guys, we don't even need the kiss. This
Yeah.
is a Juliet sketch that we have to
Yeah.
promote. But
That is really funny.
yeah, I was just
Yeah.
So we come from, we
Move
studied
past
at
it.
the same school, I think, with different teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never
Yeah.
went abroad.
No.
Didn't get
I
that
was sort of
experience.
ready for everyone to be kissing.
Yeah.
I even like seeing you guys. Why don't you guys do a stage? You know, like I wanted everyone to be doing kissing.
I can't think of
Well,
anything I would be less
But,
comfortable
yes.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of being less comfortable with things,
Thank you.
sometimes one of the most uncomfortable things to do is to cry. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's also the most comfortable.
Yeah.
Cry, aka secrete, is how we kind
These
of
are our
call
secretions.
it in this thing.
Yeah, one of the most important
Godly
secretions.
I'd kind of like to start off with something that like do you guys have a thing that's like anytime you watch it like you know you're gonna cry, or anytime
Yes.
you do a thing
Yeah.
you know you're gonna cry?
Yeah.
For me, that is like specific. There's like specific ones, but important figure skating
moments.
like, but you gotta watch a whole routine,
Oh.
and ones where they really like do so good, especially like Michelle Kwan,
Yeah.
and just at the end, like just them like being so just like years of practice have like paid off
Yeah.
at the end. That always makes me cry. That's what I'll like go to if I'm like I need to cry.
Yeah.
You know what this is? It's a reverse spank bank.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would
Yes.
consider it not reverse. I think it's a different kind of
Different kinds
spanking.
of- yeah,
Oh,
we're still
okay.
spank
I'm
banking.
still
You're
hitting
still
that. I'm
spanking the
still
bank.
slapping that meat.
Put it in the
Yeah.
same. You're
It's a
putting it in the
different
same
meat.
pile.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're not separating the piles.
Yeah.
What are your guys' things?
Interesting. The thing I would go to like if I would say the thing that's guaranteed to make me cry all the time, it is also women in sports. And like specifically, I would say like WNBA. Like the championship just happened, and it's unbelievable. There's something that, because I tragically a fucking sports fan. I like basketball. But there's something really different about men's and women's sports, where women's sports, like, you're able to be a fan of every team because there's like this general consensus and belief of like, we're all fighting for the same thing, which is like, this is a difficult space to live in. This is really fucking hard. Like, this is like, anyone who does this is incredibly impressive and constantly working against all odds. Whereas like, that's just not the case with men's basketball. And so like, the finals just happened, and I love both teams. And you
play for both teams.
And I play for both teams. Yeah, in a lot of ways. And
very Hannah Montana.
Yeah, is that I've
never seen
Best
the
of
show.
both worlds.
Never seen. Sure,
yeah.
okay. But I remember last year when the Aces won, and I sobbed watching the footage. These are women who all came up together. They're the best team that's ever existed in the WNBA. They won for a second time this year. And it was just like the camaraderie of women. Again, there's a physical thing of like they doggy piled each other, and you just don't see women doing this in a way that's like so important. Like, it's like women being physical and free with their skill and emotion, and they're like they're so powerful. It's so they're so within themselves. And then I'll add like a horny element, was that this one player, Kelsey Plum, dates this NFL player.
That's some fan fiction.
And I actually, we're gonna save that for later. We're gonna save that for later. That's in the third section. But like, it really was just like, I've cried every day for maybe the last month, and that's just the truth. I'm going through it.
Yeah. What top half?
Yeah, I'm going wet up top.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's wet below too.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's connected like
it's
that.
Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah. The thunderstorms happening every half hour.
Yeah. We cannot get that thing to clear.
Every season. Damn.
So yeah, that was a recent one though, that like, you just watch it and you're like, fuck. You can't help but support and feel what it took for them to get there.
Yes, exactly.
To label it, I think it's triumph over
Yes.
adversity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think
Any sort of tale
and
like that.
like the book, I just finished the last book of the Court and Thorns and Roses series, and it's a book about like triumph over adversity and female friendship and mental not mastering, but learning to live with emotional and mental dysfunction and trauma. And I just started sobbing while reading it, because it is that thing of like, oh my God, it is so hard to choose to live every day. And I'm like so grateful for my female friends, and it's the most powerful force in the world. I could cry now.
The eyes are getting wet.
Yeah,
I see.
could cry now.
That's good. Look at normal touch.
Whoa, and you initiated.
That was natural.
That was
the
natural.
initiation.
Natural.
I've been I am learning that about you. I don't know what I need to process that.
Yeah.
The face touching.
The face
That
touching.
was
Well, I
part
don't
of
do it anymore.
Yeah, well, it's incorporating it into the lore is.
Yeah, I will say we all thought things were normal when our brains weren't fully developed.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna,
This was so
6 months
so
ago.
fully recent.
Yeah.
Like, I'm saying my early 20s was like my mid 20s. My all the cortexes were fully formed.
That's why I think it's like the girls stealing the boys' hats.
Again, I
it was
think
your
it's
own
like
version. It was your
that's
riffing.
not
Yeah,
like.
it was like, I'm quirky.
Also, that's like flirting or whatever. This was just me being like, I'm trying to connect. You know what I mean?
nice to meet
Okay,
you,
that's
Caroline.
different. That's different.
But I would be like
That's like Avatar.
Bless you.
You were like,
I was
hooking-
doing a bit of an Avatar moment. I was hooking my braid into there.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Where I come from, it's more of a.
That's her culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my culture.
I need to
Okay,
What do you
Meg,
cry
what's
to?
happening with you?
I'm Rainforest Cafe leaky faucet like all the time, especially now that like some medication things have changed. I've returned to my kind of
Nothing,
normal
yeah.
self, which is just I'm able to cry all the time. I've been keeping a list because I find it so funny actually what can do it for me
Yes.
because
Yeah.
I almost to sob I might need a backstory like that really touches me in a personal way, but to just weep and let it happen I don't need a lot.
No, me neither.
Today I watched Adam Scott being surprised by Mark Hamill on the Jimmy Kimmel Live, and I thought it was sweet that Adam was happy. I cried.
That's I really
good.
understand that.
Yeah, it was good. Gwen Stefani got her star on the Walk of Fame, and her husband Blake made a nice speech about her, and I cried.
That's nice.
A Tina Turner song came on at the bagel store. I like Tina.
Yeah. I cried not Tina, but I cried singing.
Yeah, if you could
Music.
just start
and
singing. Yeah.
If you love the music and that's
Any musical, I kind of am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, there was a bootleg version of West Side Story on TikTok that I scrolled past, and Tony dies. Spoiler, and that really got me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
West Side Story, man.
Yeah.
Beyonce was proud of her daughter. It made me cry. The song "Take My Breath Away," duh. I was really happy for Demi Lovato when she redid her songs in a rocking way. It made me cry.
Yes.
Oh, John Waters got a star on the Walk of Fame. So Walk of Fame, actually, I'm going to
Walk
cry.
of Fame,
That's like
that's a
serious,
constant.
Yeah. Thinking about Mira Sorvino maybe doing a Romeo Michelle's tribute on a Dancing with the Stars. I don't know if she's going to do that, but she's on the show. And I just thought about like, oh, what if she did that? And then I started to cry thinking about what if she did that?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
Those
it
are
didn't
really
take
good.
much. Yeah. It's shocking though. Like sometimes it'll be like Kris Jenner talking to Kim, and then I'm like, that's so true.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
it's all the time.
Yeah.
I'm in Golden, like the intros of Golden Bachelor. I'm crying.
Yeah.
I'm commercials.
Yeah.
Driving. truly
driving
just
all the time.
Driving. I cry at least twice a week just while driving.
Oh, me too. Sometimes
triggers
I'll
you
be like,
driving?
yeah, what triggers you?
There's got to be a trigger, unless you're going into your feelings.
Yeah.
Because you know what? That's probably it. You're left alone with your feelings.
And
you're just
especially
thinking.
if I listen to music, especially if I sing show tunes, and I start to feel,
Spring Awakening, for instance.
if I start to feel the feelings of the music,
It's over.
Yeah.
good luck.
It's game over for you, bestie.
Yeah, it's game over.
Bestie.
Bestie.
Game over.
Game over.
I go full bestie mode and I let loose. I secrete. I let my secretions fall. I
Well-
started like sobbing while on the freeway the other day, and I was like, I think this is not safe.
Yeah.
Yes. I used to get
What-
rage on that.
Yeah.
Like, and it was the same way where I was like, this is not the safe way to drive.
But like, I'm like, at what? I started to be like, well, how will I know that I need to pull over?
Probably when you have that thought.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, then I while driving made a video for my best friend from growing up saying, I'm crying because I just had the thought that if I outlive you.
That's a big one. Wait, what did we text about?
Crying?
Yeah,
A lot of reading.
there was something that recently, like,
Text,
we
the
both
text.
Yeah.
did something, and we were both. The Sufjan Stevens album. We were listening to it.
yeah.
We both were crying. The new
Yeah.
one. Oh my god! And that one, it's like because it's about his partner.
It's heartbreak.
who
I think I
fucking
cried just reading
died.
a news article
Ugh.
announcing it.
The album.
Yeah, I
is
cried just
so
reading his post about it.
beautiful,
Yeah, I think so.
and it's like, yeah.
It's so beautiful. We went to the Death Cab for Cutie Postal Service concert. and
Live
we
music really makes you cry.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that shit too, where it was like so tied to like our teenage selves and like that era of our lives, and like just there was like a catharsis of being like, oh, we made it out of it, and we're
Yeah.
like here, and we're like, yeah, that was crazy.
You know what that reminds me of? Do you ever cry not because of the meaningfulness behind a show or a story, but just because of the spectacle?
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
This is like
Spectacle
when I
gets
was
me.
11 years
Yes.
old and I cried in the opening number of the Rent touring company. Because I was literally just
Yeah.
like,
This is
the presence.
Yes.
When
like to
people
see it.
show up,
yeah.
that's what live theater, what
It's like
makes
community
it
you're
incredible.
talking
It's
about,
like
yeah.
people showing up with themselves is the most powerful force in the whole fucking world.
Bestie, same age, in
Yeah.
sync. They started the show.
Yeah.
And I think it was probably my first like big concert as a
Yeah.
sentient being, and just the spectacle of the fans, the lights, the music. That's kind of, they always time out the overture or whatever
Yeah.
to like build excitement, and the manipulation that can happen because of a good like
Yeah.
sound design, like that.
Yeah. It really
The spectacle.
It's
Yeah.
like the spectacle of it.
It hits.
And
It hits.
yeah. It be hitting. The secretions are hitting.
Yeah.
And so are the
Caresses.
gentle caresses.
Yeah.
And you know what else is gonna hit?
Yeah.
When we come back, we're going to do some horny talks.
Thank you.
Dirty as fuck. I feel dirty as fuck. Dirty as fuck. I feel dirty as fuck. I feel.
All right, welcome back to Softcore, the podcast about all things soft and hard. This is our signature segment, Horn Talk, where we've prepared each of us has prepared a TikTok to show the rest. They have hopefully never seen it before. Maybe they have. We're all a little horny around here, and we should get a few reactions.
The algorithm knows.
The algorithm knows.
What a win for the Las Vegas Aces. Back-to-back champs will be back with a championship trophy ceremony.
That's hot.
Okay, yeah, that's really horny.
Her just collapsing into him.
Yeah,
afterwards?
that's really horny.
Oh.
That's my girl. That's his girl. That's his fucking
That's
girl.
horny. That's horny, yeah.
That's his fucking girl.
Get that through your
And
skull.
she just won
Yeah.
the damn championship. That's
Yeah.
his fucking girl,
That's
man.
horny.
That's horny.
And you know she's stinky, too.
Yeah, and sweaty and
Yeah.
nasty, and it's like, and she just collapses into him and kind of starts crying, and it's
That's
like
really cute.
post like crying and hugging her girlfriends, but it's also a very different, tender kind of hug
Yeah.
that like
Tinder.
Tinder.
And that she has.
The guy with the butt and the cross.
Oh my god.
So this is a man kneeling at a cross with what looks
Arched
like very
back?
naturally arched body, where he is praying to God and his ass is popped.
Did you guys know crack is back?
Butt crack?
Yeah.
Oh, people are loving butt crack.
People are loving butt crack.
I'll just throw
got
this
another
in
one?
as more traditional quick hit.
Quick hit of horny.
It's Henry
Oh,
Cavill.
I love this. Is going to be good for me.
It's just Henry Cavill as Witcher. Yeah.
And it's like an edit,
It's
too.
an edit.
I love these edits.
It's a horny fan edit.
I love a fan edit.
Woo! And here's the thing. He's not my type normally, but as Witcher,
What do you mean he's not your type?
he's not my type. I don't like, I'm not, well, maybe I'm changing, but like
You don't like little beefies?
beefsteaks are not normally in my diet.
God, that guy is such a little snack.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's
mine.
good at fingers.
Yeah.
No, Caroline.
It's not good. Mine is just gonna ruin. Mine's ruined.
Give me this.
I
Give me
can't
this.
explain why, but I saw this, and I said, this is making my Rainforest Cafe kind of get drenched, and I'm not proud of it.
Today is possibly, most likely, Rescue Day. I'm here at
Aw,
actually my
dog
local
rescue?
animal shelter, Marion County Animal
Okay, yeah,
big
those
he is.
arms,
Such an
those
amazing
arms,
staff.
yeah.
He was
I
giving
really
short
love these
king, but
people.
now he's giving.
He's a
been
tall.
getting
He's like a
consistent
bit,
Now
a bit
he's
too
giving
big.
nice
I don't want.
beef.
Their
Yeah.
shelter is completely full.
He's like bursting through
So
the
I'm here
hallway.
today.
And look at that! The holding the hands behind his back.
We're gonna go meet some dogs, of course.
He needs a big dog. Oh, Caroline. You don't have to say no more.
Whoa.
It's like a brick house walking around with his damn ass,
Yeah.
fluffy ass dog.
Please don't change it.
Well,
Oh, it's very long.
It's really long, and I will
okay,
say
yeah.
that. So I saw this, and then if you'll see in the search bar above, his name's Lee Asher, and then the first thing is the Asher House controversy.
It never ends.
So I think
Yeah.
he's like not a chill guy. Here's the thing.
sure.
Also, I think any man, first of all, any man who's
Yeah.
on social media,
Posting.
Yeah.
ill.
Doing
Posting
dog
all
Any
that
man
stuff.
who's on TikTok, not okay.
Yeah.
Any man who has
Yes.
1.3 million followers on TikTok,
No.
they should be put down. They don't need to be rescuing animals. So it's like
They need to be rescued.
exactly.
And I think is he single?
I didn't get that.
I'm
but
getting.
will
I'll tell you
find
what.
out.
I'm getting single vibes from him, and I feel like single men who are very animal forward in their presentation on the internet is a red flag. Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah. So
If you don't mind me circling to Taylor Swift really quick,
please.
Quick update.
something because I'm just seeing here, especially in the WNBA
Yeah.
video, a man that can not feel emasculated by a woman being successful,
Yes.
especially in a physical kind of
Yes.
career.
And they're both. He's in the NFL,
yeah,
and so they're both athletes.
yeah, and even just apart from that, on a selfish note, like tall people being able to unite, really, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I just had to say that.
You should date an NFA
NFA.
player.
Yeah.
Megan, you should date an NFA player.
I think about that sometimes, like, should I look in those areas for a partner? But then I worry that would it be hard to communicate
Yes.
about our different interests?
Yeah, I would say
Professional-
they're not like interested.
Professional
in that.
athletes. I'll say this: tough. to date, I think.
And I feel like they're
Yeah.
always going to be fucking other people.
Yeah, there's agreements in place
Right.
everywhere.
Wives.
Well, I'm perimenopausal. I'd love to say thank you to you both
And
for
thank you
this
to you both.
for
I'd like
our
to thank you.
first night after dark. To After Dark,
To After Dark. To being 47.
to being
47.
47
And fabulous.
and fabulous, and
Getting our periods while flying an airplane.